this video, I'm going to build a halo and a hidden halo. So let's go ahead and get busy. I'm going to start out with a finger rail because I'm going to build a ring. And so I'll just do size 7. And then for the gem, I think for this one, I'm going to use an oval and a typical 8x6. Okay. And in this video, besides building the halos, I thought I would go ahead and tip our hand at some new commands. These will be released soon, and I just thought it would be fun. There's not even a button for them yet, so I'll have to type them, but here we go. So I want to put this gem up above the finger rail, and if you know a certain distance that you want a gem to be above the finger rail, whether it's at the table, or at the girdle, or at the culet, you can do that. I'm going to select the gem, and I'm going to type JB Gem Locator, okay? And it works off a finger rail. So there'll be another video on exactly how this works and how to use it with multiple gems and so on. But here you can say, okay, I want it to be located at the table, or at the girdle, at the culet, and that would be above the finger rail. So I'm going to stick with culet, and here you can see I have, this might default to 0, okay, it might default there, you know, but you just type a distance, and I'm just going to say 1.5 above the finger rail, and then you just hit enter, and away you go. And so it's just those little things that are kind of cool. So that's JB Gem Locator. You can't type that yet. You don't have it, but it's coming. Okay, and I may show another function that's coming too. All right, let's go ahead and get, so when I do a halo, now I will say at some point we'll have a halo builder where you can slide sliders and, you know, have a beverage in your left hand and make a halo. But for now, we're going to do it the old-fashioned way and earn it. And so let's go ahead, and what I like to do is if you have a set of gems that you have to use, you know, if you're doing a remount or something, then you're at the mercy of that. If you're just making jewelry, you know, maybe you're making a bridal line or something, or it doesn't matter, the customer, you know, doesn't care how big they are, it just needs to look good. Well then, you know, we'll try to pick good sizes so that it fits around the gem correctly, and it has, you know, the head works in and has the proper spacing and so on. And so, having said that, what I like to do is I like to, you know, I'm usually in the 1.3 to 1.5 range around a stone this size, and that just comes from making about a kajillion halos. Okay, so I'm going to go right in the middle of that, except for I'm not going to do an oval. I'm going to go ahead and do a 1.4. Okay, and what I typically do is I just put this gem up there, and I take a look at, you know, how does that work? How does that fit? Does it look good? Where do I want it? You know, do I want it like right on the edge or tucked under just a little bit? And you know, you don't have to tilt it yet, but that's kind of what I do. And then I go about trying to see if that's going to fit. So the next thing I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and use the girdle curve command. All right, and I have my offset 6. Let's say you didn't know this. I already kind of know what's going on. So this was my last setting. So this is going to default at 0. So you can default it to 0 and just hit enter. And then that's going to make that curve. And then you can just use the offset command. Okay. In this case, you could also measure from here to here, and it's about 0.6. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit enter, and that goes just about right through the middle. Okay, and then I go and put this down through. So I'm putting this down through the middle of the stone so that when I do gem on curve, I have a really good chance of getting the layout done the first time. Okay, so I'll go ahead and delete that. And now we'll go ahead. I'm just going to use F6, or we could come over here and click it, but if we use F6, there's Gem on Curve Builder. Okay, and here's 1.4. You could sit and take a look, okay, the start of my Gem on Curve is up here, and that's typically what I would do. Okay, and then let's see what we have here. I have my spacing set to 0.16. That's my go-to. Some people do 0.15. Some people do 0.2. All depends on how much room and how you're going to set this, how much room you need around the between the stones. And so there is essentially a layout for 1.2s, and that is 18 of those. All right, and so not a bad layout. Let's go up to 1.4 like I was gonna do, and now we're down to let's see, 1.4s. We're at 16, which is a good number because we get them at north, south, east, and west. So that's a good layout. You can see that I have the orientation is pointing towards the origin. So all these gems are heading on down. Their culettes are pointing here, which is typical for what I do. If it's too much, we can still rotate it after the fact anyway. Of course, if you wanted them just flat, then you just face them down, and there you go. So this is actually kind of maybe a little too much for me, but I'm gonna roll with that, and then I'll change it to what I want anyway. So let's go ahead and hit enter, and I guess I'll fix those right now. And so we're going to go over to Gem and the Gem Transform Builder, and come on over here, and let's just relax that a little bit. There we go. That's kind of not bad. And if we want to move these up or whatever, we can do that at any time, but we're going to build the halo and then see what we get. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is have some geometry to hold these stones, okay? And it all depends on what you want to do. So I'm going to go with I don't know, I might do like 3 different ways to set this. You could do a channel, you could do a channel with what I would call bead set, where there's prongs in between each stone and there's just an opening for this whole thing. Or you might go with a kind of French set where you have full metal and then you cut away the parts that you don't want, and we would use micro prong cutter for that. And I guess the last way you could do it too is you could set these with heads, and maybe we'll do them all. I don't care. It all pays the same to me. Let's see, we're about 10 minutes into this, so I don't want this to go on forever. Okay, so let's do the channel stuff first because the heads are really easy. So the way I see it, we have this gem here. If I select this, I don't really want to ungroup these right now, but if you use Control and Shift, you can sub-select an item, okay? And so I just held down Shift and Control and clicked this gem, and it selected it inside a group. That's how you select inside a group. And so I'm just going to put that on yellow. I'm going to actually put this on. I usually put my center stones on gem 1, and I do side stones on 2, and halo stuff on 3. That's just my go-to setup. All right, so I'm going to turn that off, and now I can work on this gem pretty quickly, and I'm going to go ahead and just sketch out a channel. All right, and so and I literally just kind of start by drawing a line, and I'm going to go right to the edge because this one I'm going to set with just prongs. I'm going to bead set this one. So I need a gap between here, and I'm just giving it enough room in case the gems aren't all perfectly the same size. And then we'll go ahead and mirror that, and I'll turn on snaps, make sure project is on so that when I snap to the gem, it projects flat. So there you go. All right, and then let's see. I don't think I want the walls quite that high, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw here, and then I snap to the table, but before I click here, okay, it's snapping, I'm going to press Tab, and that will let me keep going on that angle, and now I have a curve that goes out across parallel with the table, okay? And then we can decide how thick we want the, oh, that's really thick. How thick we want the walls of the channel. So I'm going to go 0.6, yeah, maybe 0.5, because it's not doing anything, okay? We're not setting them down in there. So 0.5 is probably safe. And then let's do the same thing over here. Okay. And then how you want this to look, entirely up to you. Let's go ahead and I'm going to click here on the, I think Rhino calls that the bunny tail, this little white circle. I'm going to align to object. That way I can do that. There we go. And then, you know, you look at this and it's like, well, I don't want the outside edge to be straight. I want it to be kind of more rounded. So let's snap here. And then I'm just going to come out here and I'm just kind of eyeballing this, and I'm going to do something like that. And then let's go ahead and mirror this one to the other side, like so. There we go. And I am now going to use blend and blend from here to here. Hold down Shift, and I'm going to pull this like so. And I don't know, this got pretty deep, so I'm just going to pull this one up and pull this one up like so. And I'm going to go across. I'm just looking at this curve and heading out that way. Oh, and then hold down Shift and do something like that. There we go. So there's my shape there. And we'll do the same thing here. All right, and I want that thick enough to, you could hold up short, or if we want it more like this, we could always cut a seat or a clearance hole for that. It depends on if you're going to have a clean out hole here, or maybe just a divot here. all depends. Okay, and then I'm going to use on this curve here and this curve here, I'm going to go ahead and do a nice rounded top on there. So I use blend, as you can see, quite a bit. And in a former life, I knew that wasn't going to line up. In a former life, I was blend boy. Because I eyeballed some of this, although I felt like I was doing things kind of by the numbers, this one didn't match up. I always like to leave crap like this in my videos because people are like, oh yeah, that happens to me too. I'm like, well, you should be better than me. So I'm going to go over here to transform, and I'm just going to orient to, I don't want to copy that. I'm going to orient to, so click, click, and then click, and which one is the rounded one? So the rounded one's coming up this way, and it goes to the outside and goes there, it looks like. That line up? Yeah. All right, so we do that, and let's join this since we're talking about it. So just J for join. 8 curves closed into one closed curve. So it's always good to keep an eye either up here to make sure that got closed, and if we hadn't moved that and we just flipped it over there and you didn't see it, and then you selected it all and hit join, and it says either open here or open up here, that would have indicated that there was a problem, okay? And I just happened to catch it. Which is surprising because usually in a video I go click, 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 and then I'm like, oh, it's open. Then I might hit pause and figure out what's wrong, and then I'll go, well, here's what's wrong, blah, blah, blah. Okay, all that said, let's go ahead and make some geometry. So surface sweep 1. All right, here we go. And seems a little aggressive. So I am gonna, you know what I don't like is it seems like this side is higher. So I'm gonna go to this curve, hit F10 to turn on the control points, and I'm just gonna move it. Like there, take that. And then I might select, hold down shift and select these and move it down too. And there we go. I like that better. Yeah. All right, so then let's turn on our other gems, and okay, so now we can hit F6 and do prong on gem row builder. Okay, so that starts right there. And I'm going to go ahead and make this 0.6, maybe 0.55. Depends on, I'm kind of looking here. My nudge is 0.45. And then you just set these up the way that you want. I'm not gonna sit and worry about this too much, except for, this is a classic example where there's a bigger gap on the outside than there is on the inside, and so you can turn on enable second diameter control here, and that gives you a new handle for the second diameter, and might go from, what was this one, 0.55, so this one might be like 0.62 or something, and gives you some more setting power there. So these these look pretty similar to me, so all depends on how you want this set. The nudge, I might back that off just a little and hit enter, and away we go. So there is Halo version number 1. All right, so now that we have our Halo built, let's take a look at the head, and I think I'd like to show another command that we're going to release perhaps at the end of the month, I believe. So anyway, the next part that you would do is, let's just load Head Builder. So I'm going to hit F6 and hit Head Builder. And you can see that we're either going to hit this gap or this gap. Now, Head Builder, as we're still developing Head Builder, it works pretty good. There's still some things that it needs. One of them is the ability to rotate the prong about the gem, okay? And we're working on that right now. As a matter of fact, last night we were looking at it, and it's coming along very well. But we'll just, for now, what we'll do is I'm going to make this diameter, I don't know, maybe I'll hold down Shift and hit 1. I'll never get everybody watching this video to agree how big that prong should be, but I'll go with 1. And then I'm not going to worry about Head Builder. This isn't a tutorial on that, but you'd start to mix this up however you see fit. Okay. Really, I'm mostly looking for the prongs themselves, because who knows how we're going to set this. I don't know. So there's that. And there you go. Then what I would do is I would simply ungroup this, okay? So I just type it. I type UNG and hit enter, but if you're a button person, which I sometimes am, there's ungroup in tools right there. So now we have this, and I literally would just come over here and go, okay, let's rotate this from about center. I'm kind of looking, yeah, it looks like it's center. And I would rotate that to fill that gap right there. That's what we're looking for. And I don't know, debatably you might move it over this way a little. All right, so there's, and then of course these are goners. And then I use Control F1 to go from left to right, and Control F2 to go to front to back. And that is how I would suggest building that one. Some people might put them here, like I say, but that seems a little tight here. Okay, so there's that. Let's take a look at, this is grouped, so I can put it on that layer for now. Let's take a look at another feature that's coming, because there's another way that I might build this head, and that is called gem anchors. Okay, so that's the one that is in the works, and so I'm going to select the gem and type JB gem anchors, okay, and let me go ahead, and this actually typically, here's how it would open. Let's put location 0, let's put group 8, and these would be on and these would be on, so it might default looking like this. So we'll look at this real quick. I'm going to do a video when we release it on how, the different ways are to use it, but you've got vertical ticks, which are white. You've got horizontal ticks, which are yellow. You've got a culet tick, which is down here. Ticks are usually a bad thing, but in this case, we're good. And then we have points. We have these green points out here if you want those. So to cut the clutter down, I can turn off points, and I'm not using the horizontal ones, so I can click. There will be an interface over here where you can turn them on and off and slide sliders, and all depends on how you work. I'm going to take the count back down to 4 just so we can see what's going on. And then I'm going to change the location, and I'm going to drive. I'm looking at this tick right here. Okay, so if we're gonna use that one, then we would go here. I also have offset going here. So right here is the vertical anchor girdle offset.com, and we'll put that somewhere out. Oops, no, I grabbed the wrong thing. There we go. I gotta move that because that's where I want it, right there. And then you can make the anchors taller. You can change their vertical offset. Okay. And then I have the Culet one. So this is like a target. Okay. So I'm going to move it down to the finger rail. Okay. And you can change the length of that target or tick, depending on. I'm going back to my old blend target days and another life. Okay, so now what we can do is we can blend, because you know how much I like blend. I didn't start the command apparently. There we go. So we'll go from that one to that one. All right, and let's turn this off so we can see what's going on. And we can simply come down here and alter the blend. There we go. And there you go. So we'll hit OK, and then we could just pipe this. So I don't know what kind of head this is called. Let's see. I'm going to make the bottom 1.3 and the top. I guess I'll match the other one that we did. And so there's, all right, we're really close there, so we can fix that. So all of this would support history now. So if I grab the gem and simply move it up, then it all comes with it, okay? But then I can grab the targets, okay? And if I want to fix this, I'll just pick the anchors and go JB gem anchors, okay? And that will reactivate it, including the Culet one, okay? And so we can move it down. All right, and it won't update until we let go of the handle. So we can also move the vertical offset up if you want some more prong above here, okay? And then when I hit enter, it'll all update because these updated and pipe has history as well. So it's kind of fun. Something to look forward to. I think this will be a builder as well, you know. That's the way I see that. And then I always use Control F1 to go side to side and Control F2 to go front to back. So gem anchors are coming soon to a theater near you. All right. So there we go. And again, you can just grab this and move it up and down depending on what you want. Okay, let's set this a different way then. And I'll show you another trick that I do for halos. I actually got this trick from my buddy Patrick Dobbs, who at his company, I think they have 6 copies of Jewel Beetle now. So whenever we get slow and need to sell one, we just call him and say, hey, you need another Jewel Beetle. Okay, so we'll go ahead and turn this off. And so another way to get metal around this setup here is to actually, we'll go to F6, and I'm going to do Channel Builder. Okay, so there's Channel Builder. But then you just go ahead and we're going to use, let's see, there's that, and then I'm going to put a little more metal like so. And then I'm going to change the, oh, not the vertical. Well, yeah, we'll probably have to change that too, but I'm going to change the height. So what we're doing is we're actually going to use the channel as positive metal as opposed to negative metal. All right, so I'm thinking that I want that to be set about there, and I need some more height. Yeah, I need a lot more height. Actually, I want more metal, and then I'll take the vertical down again. So I'm kind of looking here at how much metal I have underneath this. I think, well, it's not going into production, so I'm not going to sweat it too bad. But there we go. There's some metal underneath it. There's that. There's that. And so I just hit enter, and I'll just put it on this layer. So there's the indicator that that is going to be my halo. All right. And then let's select the gems, and the steps that I do to do this kind of, I call it French set. I don't know that it's actually French set, but it's a shared prong type deal that you reveal by cutting away the metal. So I go to F6 and do Channel Cut Builder again, and then I'm going to hit reset and get this back to something a little more normal. And then what I do is I usually do a 45% cut. And what this is saying is if the edge of the channel is to the edge of the girdle on each side, that's 100%. And so I'm at 45% of that. And we can turn this off so that you can see it. And then we do this height here. We make sure that I got to make sure we're sticking out the top, which we are. And then the height, yeah, I'm just kind of looking here. This is about how deep I go right there. I would save this by clicking the plus and making this a preset. Okay, that's another deal there. So now let's hit enter. And then we'll come here and we'll do a Boolean, you get cut by you. Okay, and then I take the time for setting purposes. I've made a cajillion of these when I did more work for the trade. And I would make the radius, let's try 0.2 and see what, so I would fillet these edges right here. You can fillet more edges if you want. That seems a little heavy. 0.125. Oh, sorry, I gotta enter that first. 0.125, okay. I'll go ahead and fillet these two. There we go. Yeah, that looks about right. You could fillet them separately too. You could do the outsides 125 and maybe the inside 1.2 or 1.7, or you get the idea. All right, so the next thing that we'll do is I'm going to do Micro Prong Cutter Builder. All right, and there we go. And let's go to the gem cutter. So I go to the gem cutter tab, and this is where we're going to set up, there's the vertical offset, here's the gem cutter width, okay. That's the middle taper. I usually stay away from that one. All right, we can turn this off so we can see. Yeah, that's not bad. I usually try to stay in the upper third of the pavilion. You know, I don't like to go halfway down. I like to stay right about there. Maybe just a little. Let's see, I got a little carried away there. That's kind of half. I don't like to go down that deep. There, I should have just left it. So anyway, and then let's make sure that our cutters are long enough we cut all the way through. Then we can come over to the split cutter, okay, and decide where and how we want that. This actually isn't too awful bad. Sometimes what I like to do is I like to change the height of it and then drive it down a little so that I get a little wider cut up here, and then it falls off quick, okay? So I'm going to hit enter, and you get cut by you and you. All right, and then I cut these two ways, all right? Let's go here, let's go F6 and find gem cutter. The first cut, and I'll go to the library here, the first cut, I'm going to do the heart burr with the ball, okay? And we're actually cutting the seat, all right? And I typically would be in the 102 or 103 range, okay? So there we go. And you get cut by you. Ta-da. And then we're going to cut here, F6, do cutter again, and I'm going to come back and do this one, the tapered drill, okay? And this one I do at 0.95, and this just, so here's the girdle, 0.95, and then let's do the table the same so it doesn't taper on me. And that just cuts away a little bit of this. You can go higher. You can go like 0.96, 97. And there you go. So now these, you know, kind of almost, you just move them over a little bit, pop those in there, put your tool back between there and push them back, and Robert's your mother's brother. Okay, so if you didn't catch that reference, I think I hear it mostly in Canada where they say Bob's your uncle, but Robert's your mother's brother, I guess, is in case that one went by you. There you go. All right, that is that's how I build a halo. I will say a hidden halo, which if you've never heard that term before, a hidden halo is a halo that is underneath facing out, okay? And it basically is all the same methods, but I'll do one real quick. So let's go. I think all things said and done. This is going to break history and break all sorts of stuff, but I think this would be better closer up. But that's my opinion. All right, that's how I spent my summer vacation. Let's see, put that all on there. All right. Okay, so here is my setup. This is all from the first part of the video, so I wasn't going to make this head again and everything, but I did a round for this one. Doesn't matter. So I have a profile sitting here. So it's a hidden halo, so it should be hidden. Go figure. So I made sure that I didn't see, you know, anything. There's where it stops there. It's under the girdle, or past. Okay, so I went ahead and just drew mimicking the pavilion, and then on around filleted it so it's all pretty. So since it's round, oh, I didn't, when I drew that, I didn't even join it. So let's join it. J, join. Close curve, yay. We could do a girdle curve. Since it's round, I probably just would head on over here and do revolve. So F4, straight up, enter, enter, and as long as you have 360 picked, which I did, then we get this. And go ahead and put that on this layer. So there's the setup. This one is pretty small. I made this for a 1.1 millimeter. So let's go ahead and let's get this, which is extract ISO curve. So we'll pick here and turn on snapping, turn off project, and should find a midpoint here, I would think. Nope. Oh, it's down. Wow, weird. All right, I'm gonna eyeball it. That looks like about the middle right there. Okay, so then F6 gem on curve, and like I say, I built this for 1/1s, but you could sit and figure it out regardless. I'm gonna bring this around over here and bring this around to over here, and then the orientation is object, and the object is this one, and we want to be not on the table but on the girdle. Okay, and let's go ahead and pull this one over to here. And the spacing on this one might have to cheat a little. I put it at 0. You can see that I'm just past my my circles are set at 0.16 up here. So that's what you get, but we can move this so it's just right on the edge, and this one can be right on the edge, and that is within KT, which stands for Kent tolerance. Okay, so we do that, and F6 prong, we'll turn this off, and it's pretty close. What do we got for size here? Diameter, probably go down to 0.5 for this one and be okay. And maybe the nudge is out just a bit. Got enough depth. Got too much depth. There we go. And then I would just come over here and go to transform array, F4, 4 of them, and then do your cutters. This one, let's do a clean out on that. So, well, we'll just do them all. So I'm going to right click this layer, F6, and cutters. And in the library, we want this one. And let's turn off the center stone. And I think I'm going to make this bigger and longer. There we go. That probably won't matter, but I don't want those to touch there. That might help the Boolean. Okay, you get cut by all that are on the cutters layer. And there we go. Some people would not do this for casting. They would maybe drill them later. I don't know. Might hold up, might be okay. Could also consider, let's see if this fillets. Let's go 0.1. Might fillet these to make it, yeah. Point 0.1 maybe is a little aggressive, maybe not. That just kind of smooths things out for casting, but and there is, those prongs probably be set a little deeper, but anyway, there's a hidden halo. Pretty much the same process, like I say, just on the vertical instead of the horizontal. All right.